Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Crypto Invest. As you may know, I have been traveling and I just landed in Vietnam yesterday. I just got situated and this will be the first episode coming to you from Vietnam. A lot of things has happened the last couple of days. The most obvious is the fact that the CME Bitcoin future market is now open. So we're going to talk about the CME Bitcoin future market. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and how it had changed now that the CME future market has opened. We're going to talk about some of the coins that we have always talked about, including Ethereum, including Litecoin. We're going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin Cash and Cardano as well, and also Ripple. So with that, let's get into it. As always, this is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice. So before I left the state, Bitcoin future market from the CME is going to be the main source of all the fluctuation all the way up to the date of the launch, which is earlier today. So Bitcoin price did get the initial push from the CBOE Bitcoin future market, and after that initial boost of price, Bitcoin is trading between 16,000 and 17,000 over the last few days, up until about 48 hours before the CME market open, and that's when Bitcoin really make a move for the new price. So let's take a look at to what is going on with the Bitcoin future market. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Bitcoin future market, it is a market where a seller and a buyer bet on the future price of Bitcoin. And the way they are doing that is they are going through a contracts where, for example, between now and January, whether or not you think Bitcoin price will be X amount of dollars or not. So the buyer of the contract, for example, if the contract is for 20,000, meaning that the buyer is betting that the price of Bitcoin between now and January to be above 20,000. Vice versa, for the seller, they think Bitcoin price will go below 20,000. And whoever win the bet at the end of the contract, the winner will get the price difference between the current contract price and what the contract was for. So for example, if the Bitcoin price is at 25,000 by the contract end date in January, then the buyer will get $5,000 because the contract was for 20 and now Bitcoin is at 25. Vice versa, if Bitcoin went down to 15,000 by January, then the seller will get the $5,000 difference. Everything is settled through cash, so there's no Bitcoin changing hand at all. So just prior to the launch of the CME, Bitcoin price did go all the way up to $20,000. They touched the $20,000 briefly and then went down a little bit after that. And a lot of this have to do with the fact that last week when we seen the CBOE launch of the Bitcoin future contract, the price actually shot up after the launch of the CBOE because the contract price was actually a lot higher than the current price. So because of all the excitement, Bitcoin price would beat all the way up to 20,000. And as many expected, the opening price for the CME Bitcoin future was above 20,000. However, it would quickly drop after that. As a matter of fact, I think the price would drop by around 4 to 5%. Would of course that make a lot of headlines. You will see a lot of headlines from CNBC or Bloomberg saying that Bitcoin futures for CME open and the price plummet by 5%. But many of us know that 5% change in Bitcoin price is really very minimal. Bitcoin is very volatile assets, and fluctuation 10% a day is really nothing at all in this market. But of course, for traditional market, going up and down 5% a day is quite a move for a lot of the original stocks. So of course, for a lot of traditional investors, 5% change in price is a lot for them, but it's not a lot for us. So keep in mind when you see these headlines, for example, this one, Bitcoin debuts on the world's largest future exchange and price fall. It's really only fall by 4% or 5% at the time of this article. So take a look at the Bitcoin price prior to the CME launch date. It went all the way from 18,000 up to, depending on what you look at what exchange. So currently I'm on Coinbase. It went all the way to $19,800 or so. But in some other exchanges, it went all the way to 20,000. And then right after the opening of the CME futures, the price went all the way down to as low as $18,200, which is not a. I mean, it looks like a big drop from 20,000, but it's really not that much. Like I just say. And then after that, it's quickly climbing back up, and is currently trading at 19,349. And a lot of this have to be with the fact that the future contract is being traded a lot more now. So currently we are looking at 666 contracts as the time of this video so far, and the current price for the Bitcoin January 2018 contract is 19,645 for the CME group, meaning that between now and January, the price they are thinking is going to be around 19,645 at this moment. Of course, the price is subject to change as more people trading more contracts, and the price actually for the CBOE market is about the same, which is at 19,700. So although the premium on a contract is not what the market was anticipating, a lot of people was anticipating the fact that the contract price may be a whole lot more than the current Bitcoin price, which will drive the Bitcoin price up a lot more. But that wasn't the case. However, what this does tell me is it wasn't that bad, right? So the fact that a lot of the big institutional investors or big investors think that the future price for Bitcoin between now and January is at around 19,645, telling me that they are not, at this moment, they don't think that Bitcoin is overvalued or undervalued. They think that the price of Bitcoin is roughly where it's supposed to be based on their calculation. That's why the market price for the January contract, which is expired in about 4 weeks, is at 19,645. And the Bitcoin price currently is at 19,348, which means they think that Bitcoin has a tiny bit more to go between now and January, but pretty much it's gonna stabilize at 19,000. And of course, like I say, this is as of the time of the recording. And you can check out Bitcoin future price contract for the CBOE and the CME on cnbc.com. I will leave the link in the description below. You can also go straight to the CME website or the CBOE website to check out the contract price, and you can also see the February and the March contract. Although these numbers are not reliable because they only have sold one contract for February and 2 contracts for March so far, the value for the January contract is fairly okay right now because we did have about 666 contracts so far. Alright, so moving on to Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash is currently at 1874 at the moment. As you may have remembered, a few days ago, Bitcoin Cash did has quite a push all the way up to 2100 from, I would say, from 1600. And a lot of that has to do, one major factor has to do with the fact that blockchain.info wallet has added Bitcoin Cash as one of the coin that they're going to be holding on the Bitcoin wallet on their website. Although it has not officially been added to blockchain.info, it will be added before they add SEC with support. So that has been a pretty good news for Bitcoin Cash. But after that, Bitcoin Cash seemed to losing a lot of steam, and over the last few days is pretty much trading sideways from my perspective. So anywhere from 1730 to as high as 1900. So that has been the range as what Bitcoin Cash has been trading. So if you're taking a look at what is going on with Bitcoin Cash, there has not been a lot of news actually. Roger Ver, of course, being a big Bitcoin Cash supporter, he has been putting out a lot of tweets attacking Bitcoin Cash. The theme are pretty much the same, so nothing new as far as what you are not used to. His main argument is the fact that Bitcoin, or Bitcoin Core as he likes to call them, is no longer a transactional currency. It's become a store of value, which is not consistent with the original vision from the Satoshi white paper, and that Bitcoin Cash is fulfilling that role to be a true transactional currency. Therefore, Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin. That has been his narrative over the last few months, so nothing new here as far as news regarding to Bitcoin Cash. So moving on to Ethereum. So Ethereum has been slowly moving up from the low of around $620, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that Ethereum has been normalized their speed and transaction fee. So many of us know that what happened is the CryptoKitties game on the Ethereum platform has caused a lot of congestion on the Ethereum platform. Therefore, for a series of days, the fee was pretty high. And as well as the fact that the speed is really slow. So I knew this because when I tried to send my money from my other wallet to the MetaMask wallet, it took, this is about 7 days ago, it took around 3 to 4 hours for my Ethereum to get there. So that was quite slow. And some user reported that they had to pay upward of a few dollars to transfer Ethereum. So that's quite significant. And I think that may have caused the price to go down quite a bit. But ever since, it looked like the speed and the fee is now normalized. As far as any other news regarding to Ethereum, we do have some warning for those who are using the Mist browser data that the private keys could be exposed by a malicious website. So I leave this article in the bottom of the description below. This is more of a warning than anything else. So if you are a part of the Mist browser data, I would highly recommend you taking a look at these data here. There's some precaution if you are using the Mist browser beta, and some of these including you gotta avoid keeping large quantities of Ether or token in the private keys on an online computer. You need to back up the private key. Don't visit any website that is untrusted by Mist. And I think most importantly that you need to keep your day-to-day browser updated as to the latest version. So moving on to Ripple XRP. So Ripple, there has been an article published by Crypto News today. I'm not sure the validity of this news, but it looks like someone just bought 700 million US dollar worth of XRP. This is a major investment. There are some screenshot here of some of the proof as to the fact that this transaction took place. So take a look at Ripple price over the last few days. It certainly has a monster run from, I would say, 25 cents back in December 9, which is about 9 days ago, all the way up to the peak. I'm on Bitfinex right now at 90 cents, so almost $1. So quite significant. And more impressively is that the fact that the price does go down a lot, which is normally the case when you have a major run up. But Ripple seemed to be able to keep a lot of the gains after the major run-up. So pretty impressive for Ripple. As you know, a lot of time in the past when we have seen major run-up for Ripple is followed by a lot of the downside. So a lot of time we give up a lot of the gains. But it seems like to me so far that Ripple was able to keep a lot of their gains on the major run-up. So congratulations on those who currently holding Ripple and who is a believer in the projects. I know the Ripple project is highly controversial because it's mainly for banks, and that doesn't go in line with a lot of the vision that a lot of the cryptocurrency holder have, which is the moving away from the traditional bank and traditional financial market. And a lot of the run up is because of the fact that Ripple had announced one of the major partnership or collaboration with the Japanese bank consortium. They has helped the bank. They're gonna test out the Ripple protocol to send money from Japan to Korea, and that will be the first time any Japanese bank ever sent money to Korea via the Ripple network. So that's had quite an effect on the price. As far as the news today about somebody just bought $700 million worth of Ripple, I'm not sure if I see that reflection on the price at all. I mean, you can argue that it's maybe causing some of this fluctuation, I'm not sure. But that's just something that I want you to be aware of. As far as Litecoin, so Litecoin have a major run up, just like most of the main cryptocurrencies, went all the way to 420. Currently, Litecoin is settling like around $325, and it has moving sideways at the last couple of days. As far as news, there's not a whole lot of news regarding to Litecoin. We do know that Charlie Lee has been out there promoting Litecoin quite a bit. He has seen on CNBC, he has seen on a few other media outlets talking about Litecoin, so that has been received fairly positive in terms of pricing. Take a look at Charlie Lee Twitter page. He published a tweet today about the fact that Cardano has a major run up in price. He said that he noticed Cardano ADA is now number 6 on CoinMarketCap, and he doesn't know why it become a $10 billion coin when it's only 3 months old. And the only major exchanges trading is Bittrex and Binance without even any fiat trading pairs. So meaning that you can only buy Cardano using like Ethereum or Bitcoin at the moment. There is no way for you to buy Cardano using cash. So what he mentioned there is the fact that Cardano have a major run up from 13 cents, and it was just back in earlier this month, so about 2 weeks ago. And it has a major run up to as high as, let's go up here, you will see as high as 57 cents. So major run up for Cardano. He went ahead and, to be clear that he has nothing against Cardano. He just doesn't think that the valuation makes sense at the moment. I'm sure he get a lot of heat for saying that about Cardano. For those who are not familiar with Cardano, so Cardano is created mainly run by a gentleman named Charles Hoskinson, and Charles Hoskinson is a co-founder of Ethereum together with Vitalik Buterin, and he created Cardano because he has seen some of the weaknesses and how to improve the Ethereum network, but he went on and created his own network called Cardano, and ever since it has been received pretty well in terms of the market and pricing. And if you want to know more details about Cardano, there is a video, very fantastic, about 15 minutes long. It's titled Cardano Whiteboard with Charles Hoskinson. I will leave the link in the description below. If you're curious, take a look at this video to see what he's trying to build. From a white paper standpoint and from a technical standpoint, I think this project has a lot of potentials. But as far as execution, we have to wait and see because it's only 3 months old, as Charlie Lee pointing out on his tweet earlier today. So the valuation, I really don't have any comments on that, because I think if they can accomplish what they set out to do, it's gonna work a whole lot more than what it's currently at the moment. But as far as whether or not the current price is fair, I can't really tell. I do want to know. I do know that if I'm buying Cardano now, would I has lucky for me that I bought it a couple weeks ago, but I only bought a small portion of Cardano. I'm looking to certainly get a lot more exposure to Cardano. But the fact that the price is at the all-time high at the moment, I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy any at this moment. So I have to think about that. The last piece of news I want to talk to you about is the fact that Coinbase is hinting as, number one, adding more cryptocurrencies to their platform, and number two, having an initial public offering for their companies. I do want to say that there has been a lot of speculation about what coin is going to be added to Coinbase, because this is quite significant in terms of the fact that Coinbase is pretty much the largest trading exchanges at the moment for cryptocurrencies. It is typically the first entry for a lot of customers. So the first time someone buy Bitcoin in the US or in the UK, for example, it's more than likely through Coinbase. They do have a mobile app, fairly easy to use, although the last few weeks there has been a lot of server issue because they has been receiving a lot more customers. But beside that, Coinbase is fairly solid, easy to use. They only have 3 cryptocurrencies on their platform at the moment, which is Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. So whichever cryptocurrency gonna be added to Coinbase is gonna be huge, because people are gonna see that this new cryptocurrency is available on Coinbase. It's easy to buy, and they may just get exposed to that. So there has been some speculation. I heard Dash, I heard Monero, I heard Ripple. No one knows for sure, so just be careful. If someone tell you otherwise, there is no true answer to which coin is being added to Coinbase. So that is still a well-guarded secret. However, GIAO did publish something called a GIAO Digital Asset Framework, which basically outlines what are some of the factors they are looking for when adding a new cryptocurrencies onto the platform. So I'll leave a link to this in the description below. You're more than welcome to look through this. It's not a long document. It does outline some of the characteristics of what are they looking for before they adding a coin. I do want to say that a lot of the coins on the top 20 or even the top 30 fit the bill to be added to GIAO and Coinbase. So this doesn't really help you that much, but at least it can let you know what are they looking for, so you can at least eliminate some of the coin on the top 20s. But like I say, a lot of the coin on the top 20 can fit this framework here, so keep that in mind. But regardless, it's a good material to read anyway. So with that, I'm going to end the episode. If I sound tired, that's because I've been traveling. So sorry for that. But I do want to get the news out to you. I'm going to try to get as many video out to you as possible while I'm traveling. But thank you for supporting the channel. If you like the episode, hit the like button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel so you get the latest news from Crypto Invest. And with that, thanks again for your support, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.